You're scrolling, you're tired, you're bored. You're maybe a little stressed about something that happened today. And you see it, an ad, a product, something you didn't even know you wanted until this exact moment. It's perfect, it's on sale, it's limited edition. There's a countdown timer, only 3 hours left. Your thumb hovers, your brain does the math. It's only $50, $100, $200, you deserve it, you worked hard, it's fine. You click, you buy, you feel a little thrill, a little dopamine hit. You close the app and go to sleep. 3 days later, a box arrives. You open it, you look at the thing, and you think to yourself, why did I buy this? It goes in a drawer, or on a shelf, or in the back of a closet. You forget about it. Until months later when you're cleaning and you find it still in the box and you wonder where that $100 went. If this has ever happened to you, and let's be honest, it's happened to all of us, you're not broken. You're not bad with money, you're just human. But here's the thing, being human is expensive. The average American spends over $300 a month on impulse purchases. That's $3,600 a year. Some studies put it even higher, closer to $5,000. That's not pocket change. That's a fully funded Roth IRA. That's a vacation. That's a down payment on a car. That's wealth you're literally throwing away on things you don't need, don't want, and don't remember buying. But there's a fix, a simple fix, a psychological trick so powerful it can cut your impulse spending in half. It doesn't require willpower, it doesn't require a budget, it doesn't require you to become a different person. It's called the 48-hour cooling rule, and it might be the most valuable thing you learn all year. Hi, what's up? My name is James, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychology of spending, why we buy things we don't need, and how to stop. If you're someone who's ever looked at your credit card statement and thought, where did all that money go? Make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Most people think investing is about having a lot of money. The truth, it's about what you keep, and the easiest way to keep more is to stop leaking it on impulse buys. I'm building a community at the Frugal Investor newsletter where we strip away the hype and focus on high-impact, low-cost wealth building. Get your copy, the 15-day blueprint for wealth and financial autonomy, and join a group of like-minded investors who prioritize long-term gains over short-term trends. Link is in the description. Let's start with the brain, because understanding why we buy is the first step to stopping. When you see something you want, your brain's reward center lights up. Dopamine floods your system. You feel a surge of pleasure, anticipation, excitement. This is the same neurotransmitter involved in addiction. It's powerful, it's primal. The modern shopping experience is designed to maximize this effect. Bright colors, limited time offers, countdown timers, only 2 left in stock. These are all triggers designed to hijack your dopamine system and push you to buy now before the feeling fades. Here's what most people don't realize. That feeling, the excitement, the anticipation, the desire, peaks right before you buy. The actual purchase is a letdown. The thing itself rarely lives up to the fantasy. Psychologists call this the pleasure gap. The anticipation is better than the reality. But by the time you realize that, you've already spent the money. There's a famous study by Reed and Lowenstein that illustrates this. They asked people to choose snacks for the next week. When choosing for the future, people picked apples. When choosing for right now, people picked chocolate. The same people. Different time horizons, different choices. This is the fundamental problem. Your future self wants to save. Your present self wants the hit, and your present self is in charge. Let's look at the numbers. Because the math is embarrassing. According to a 2023 survey by SlickDeals, the average American spends $314 per month on impulse purchases. That's $3,768 per year. For millennials, it's even higher, over $400 per month, nearly $5,000 a year. Another study by Credit Karma found that 54% of Americans have made an impulse purchase in the last month, and 40% regret it. Now, let's do the math on what that money could be. Let's say you're 30 years old. You spend $300 a month on impulse buys. That's $3,600 a year. Instead, you take that $300 a month and invest it in an S&P 500 index fund. Historical average return, about 10%. Let's use 8% to be conservative. You do this from age 30 to age 65, 35 years. At 8% return, $300 a month becomes $3,600 a year, invested annually, compounding. After 35 years, you would have approximately $620,000. $620,000 from the money you're currently throwing away on stuff you don't need. Now let's be realistic. You won't stop all impulse spending. You're human. But what if you could cut it in half? What if you could save $150 a month instead of $300? That's still over $300,000 in 35 years. The 48-hour cooling rule isn't about deprivation. It's about redirecting money from things you don't care about to things you do. So what is the 48-hour cooling rule? It's simple. For any non-essential purchase over a certain threshold, let's say $50 to start, you wait 48 hours before buying. That's it, 2 days, you don't buy it now, you don't add it to your cart, you don't click buy now, you wait. During those 48 hours, you do nothing, you don't research it more, you don't look for reviews, you don't compare prices, you just sit with the desire. Here's what happens. The dopamine spike fades, the excitement cools, the urgency passes, and after 48 hours, you can look at the purchase with a clear head. Most of the time, like 80% of the time, you'll realize you don't actually want it. You wanted the feeling of wanting it. The thing itself was irrelevant. And the 20% of purchases that survive the 48-hour test, those are the ones you actually want. Those are the ones worth buying. Those are the ones that will actually bring you joy. Now you might be thinking, James, why 48 hours? Why not 24? Why not a week? Good question. There's actually science behind the number. The initial dopamine spike from seeing something you want lasts about 20-30 minutes. That's why limited time offers use short windows. They're trying to get you before the spike fades. But the emotional attachment, the feeling that you need this thing, takes longer to fade. Research in consumer psychology suggests that the desire for a novel item peaks at about 24 hours and then declines rapidly. By 48 hours, most of the emotional charge is gone. 48 hours is also short enough that you won't forget about it if it's actually important. If you still want it after 2 days, it's probably real. If you forget about it entirely, it definitely wasn't. Let me tell you a story about 2 shoppers. We'll call them Emily and Rachel. Emily is an impulse shopper. She sees something she likes, she buys it. Clothes, gadgets, home decor, random Amazon finds. It makes her feel good in the moment. But her credit card bill is always a shock. She has a closet full of clothes with tags still on them. She has a drawer full of gadgets she used once. She spends about $400 a month on impulse buys. Rachel uses the 48-hour cooling rule. She sees something she likes. She adds it to a list. She waits. Most of the time, she forgets about it. When she does remember after 48 hours, she asks herself, do I actually want this, or do I just want the feeling of wanting it? About 80% of the time, the answer is no. She only buys the 20% that survive the test. She spends about $80 a month on impulse buys. Now let's fast forward 20 years. Emily has spent $96,000 on impulse buys over 20 years. She has nothing to show for it but a closet full of forgotten stuff. Rachel has spent $19,200. She saved $76,800. Invested at 8%, that's over $150,000. Same income, same desires, different rules, different outcomes. The 48-hour cooling rule works even better if you combine it with a list. Here's the technique. When you see something you want to buy, add it to a want list. This can be a note on your phone, a spreadsheet, a piece of paper, whatever works. Write down the item, the price, or the date, why you want it. Then wait 48 hours. After 48 hours, review the list. Ask yourself, do I still want this? Do I need this? Where will it live? Will I actually use it? What could this money do instead? Most items will get deleted. But here's the magic. Even for the ones you buy, the list gives you a record. Over time, you'll start to see patterns. You'll notice that you always want certain types of things at certain times. You'll learn about yourself, and that self-knowledge is priceless. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, online shopping. Online shopping is impulse buying on steroids. It's available 24/7. It's frictionless. It's designed to be addictive. Think about Amazon's one-click buy. Think about buy now buttons. Think about saved payment information. Every barrier to purchase has been removed. You can spend $500 in 5 seconds without ever leaving your couch. According to a study by the Journal of Consumer Research, online shoppers are significantly more likely to make impulse purchases than in-store shoppers. Why? Because there's no social pressure. No one sees you. No one judges you. You're alone with your desire and a button. The 48-hour cooling rule is especially powerful for online shopping because it reintroduces friction. It forces you to pause. It breaks the automaticity. Here's where it gets really interesting. The most powerful way to use the 48-hour cooling rule is to reframe the cost. Instead of thinking about the $100 you're spending, think about what that $100 could become. $100 invested at 8% for 30 years is over $1,000. That $100 impulse buy isn't $100. It's $1,000 of future retirement. $500 invested for 30 years is over $5,000. $5,000 a year in impulse spending is over $50,000 in future wealth. When you look at it that way, the choice becomes clearer. Do I want this thing now, or do I want $1,000 later? This is called temporal discounting. We naturally value the present more than the future. But by making the future concrete, by putting a number on it, we can rebalance the equation. Okay, so you're convinced. You want to try the 48-hour cooling rule. How do you actually do it? Step 1, set your threshold. Decide what counts as an impulse purchase. For some people, it's anything over $50. For others, it's anything non-essential. For others, it's everything except groceries and bills. Start with a threshold that feels manageable. You can adjust later. Step 2, create your want list. Use a notes app, a spreadsheet, or even a physical notebook. When you see something you want, add it to the list with the date and price. Step 3, set a timer. Physically set a timer for 48 hours, or put a reminder in your calendar. The act of setting the timer makes it official. Step 4, the review. After 48 hours, review the list. Ask the questions. Do I still want this? Did I forget about it entirely? Would I rather have the money or the thing? What's the future value of this money? Step 5, buy or delete. If you still want it after 48 hours and you can afford it and you have a place for it, buy it. No guilt, no shame. You've earned the right to buy it by waiting. If you don't want it anymore, delete it. Celebrate the money you saved. Step 6, review your list monthly. At the end of each month, look at what you bought and what you didn't. Look for patterns. What triggers your impulse buys? Boredom, stress, late-night scrolling, social media. The more you know, the better you can prevent. Now you might be thinking, James, this sounds like work. I don't want to manage my wants like a project. I get it, it takes effort. But here's the thing, the effort is the point. The friction is the point. By making it harder to buy, you buy less. You might also think, but what about limited time offers? What about sales? What if the thing is gone in 48 hours? Good, let it be gone. If it's a limited time offer, it's a sales tactic. The scarcity is manufactured. There will always be another sale, another deal, another thing. The fear of missing out is exactly what they're exploiting. If the thing is truly gone after 48 hours, it wasn't meant to be, and you'll survive. Here's the final piece, the one that changes everything. The ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest predictors of success in life. There's a famous study called the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. Kids who could wait 15 minutes to eat a marshmallow got two later. The ones who could wait had better life outcomes decades later. Higher test scores, better health, higher income. Delayed gratification is a superpower, and the 48-hour cooling rule is a way to train it. Every time you wait, you strengthen the muscle. Every time you choose future wealth over present pleasure, you get better at choosing. Over time, it becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. Let's bring this home. The 48-hour cooling rule isn't just about saving $5,000 a year. It's about changing your relationship with money. When you stop impulse buying, you start being intentional. You start asking, what do I actually want? You start aligning your spending with your values. And that intentionality compounds, not just in money, but in life. You become the kind of person who makes conscious choices, not reactive ones. You become the kind of person who builds wealth, not just spends it. The money is just the side effect. The real win is the person you become. Look, I'm not saying you should never buy anything fun. I'm not saying you should live like a monk. I'm saying you should be intentional. The 48-hour cooling rule is the simplest, most powerful tool I know for cutting impulse spending. It doesn't require a budget. It doesn't require willpower. It just requires a pause. 2 days, that's all. 2 days between wanting and buying. In those 2 days, the dopamine fades, the desire cools, and your rational brain takes back control. And most of the time, your rational brain says, nah, I'm good. Try it for 1 month. Just 1 month, see what happens, see how much you save, see how you feel. My guess is you'll never go back. I really hope this video brought you some value today. If it did, comment more down below. I'm reading through those to decide what topics to cover next, so definitely let me know if you want more of this. My name is James. Wait 48 hours. Save for a lifetime. And I'll see you in the next one.